A, powerbank. Dobrze, powerbank. А, і ти? В магазинах? Хто ходить? Та бо він лисий. А він модний вже.
А?
Модний.
Він модний? Та ти коси.
Это чтобы он 30 был дома. Ой, в Рюмі.
Чекай, я там. От. О, все.
Що Ваці?
Лиш треба кофту трохи підсунути, бо вона не вилазила.
Що Ваці?
Сухенькі було.
Я ще?
Та мама таку ніхто забере.
Ай, що мені робити?
Кофту ту заховай якусь униз, або ткани запхай. аби вона не виглядала. Запхай їх в штани. О,
Мені треба ще почекати.
добре, ти чекай.
You're simply the best.
Доставимо вчасно в магазин Алло або заплатимо гроші. Алло, тицяй що хочеш.
Welcome to the Legend stage, baby. Yes, that's right, a legendary major. We've got all the legends back. Anders and Samler, Moses. Somehow I got invited. But right now, we do start off our second portion, our top 16. We bring in some new teams this week that I think everyone's excited to see. And we get to really find out, as I think they said on the desk, what the pecking order is. Because the top 10, the sort of the litmus of who's been playing who for rankings, kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it's been up and down. There's been some inconsistency of results. So, yeah, this is going to be a perfect stage to kind of iron all that out. And remember, I think the fun part about this, too, is 8 new teams coming in against 8 teams who've already been here competing. That usually throws some kind of an upset, some kind of a spanner in the works.
Yeah, absolutely. The first and foremost that we see on the schedule today, obviously, we're going to come in and talk about G2 versus Copenhagen Flames, which is a great example as well. But, FaZe EG, right? What's AG been up to? They haven't exactly been as rated as highly as you might expect them to be.
They've been going through a lot of issues as well.
100%. And you get FaZe, who also went through a fair amount of issues this year, but now actually have had some days to play into this event and are looking pretty decent. And likewise, I think the case with this, there's a rumor G2 didn't do a lot of boot camping coming into this. Now, on paper, I still favor them. They've got Niko. They've got incredible form on this team when they're at their peak. And obviously, Hunter's come into his own and playing with his cousin. I think there's a bit of camaraderie there. But you've got Copenhagen Flames, who, look, I'll say it, blew my mind. I did not think they were a 3-0 team. I actually potentially saw them still going 0-3, which I know a lot of people were surprised I said when you looked at everyone that was in that challenger stage. But the fact is, they've been playing in that previous stage, the challenger stage, and had the warm-up, had the time to get going. There's a real chance they can beat G2 now.
Well, the one thing that they have, the one, I guess, kind of quote-unquote obstacle would be, now they're playing in the studio. They've been playing a lot of their games in the practice room. They have to switch environments now, so that might help even things up. But you're right. G2, even if they're not, per se, like boot camping in the traditional sense, like they're obviously practicing together still. But again, when you come in, you get all 5 players together, even though they're experienced with each other, that first day or two, it is kind of a new feeling. It does throw some things up in the air.
I did ask Maniac as well, because I know G2, we attribute them to being a French team, even though there's only 2 French players left on it. But he obviously follows that team, knows Amanek and jackz, and keeps in touch. And well, he keeps in touch with every team, Maniac. That's his job. But specifically, I asked him, okay, sure, they didn't boot camp, but did they come to Sweden early and at least try and scrim in a LAN setting, or at least in a team setting against some of the teams that are already here? And he did say, yeah. And I get it. The reason I brought that up is because it's not like they haven't been doing anything, as you say. They've still been playing, but they didn't have that traditional sort of week-long boot camp work on smoke specifically. Let's develop a map. Let's review demos each and every night and then implement, right? It's not the traditional sense.
The biggest problem with G2, like the boot camping thing, is its own animal. But remember, they've had those 2 horrendous group stages in like recent memory that just went so bad, like winless group stages to get them eliminated from various events. So you come into this event and you're just kind of scratching your head, wondering where they're supposed to be, because it's not too long ago that they looked like they were on the rise, and then just a really sudden plummet down to the bottom. Yeah, this is a really sneaky game, and I mean, in some sense, with the way we've seen Copenhagen Flames go, like burn through the challenger stage 3-0, go through IM Winter with such emphatic victories. Now that you look at G2, and you could say G2 winning this would actually be the upset. Like, you almost make CPH Flames, Copenhagen Flames, like the favorite in this game.
Yeah. In the recent context, I think that's absolutely true. I don't call it an upset in that, because if it was the standard, Unisphere,
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
perfect. But, if things were as we'd expect them to be at this portion going into a major, traditionally, G2 should be the team that wins. But you're right. There's a lot going on right now with the trends on who's hot, who's cold, who's ready to be on LAN, who's been practicing or implementing good discipline in the online era, and who's motivated. Because I think that's the other aspect that people aren't talking about, is the mental aspect of the online portions.
Yeah.
And I touched on this a little bit during ESL when I was doing interviews with some of the players, and I think it was Hooch that actually, coach obviously of Team Spirit, that came back and said he didn't think necessarily that the reason the tier 2 teams were performing better online was because the tier 1 teams weren't motivated. It was because they were in a setting they were more comfortable with, and therefore they were able to be, it's the inexperience on LAN that we talk about, which therefore is still a factor. But the point is, the fact that they've seen that success, that's now mental motivation. So you come here, and even if that LAN thing's still a possibility of being a problem, if you're Copenhagen Flames, you're riding a high rate now that says we can beat these guys. Whereas formerly, if they had to come into a LAN previously and they never get those wins, they never really get that going, you may not get this same momentum. So you're going to see a lot of teams that are still going to ride that wave that they created for themselves online.
Yeah, and I'll call shenanigans a little bit on anyone who kind of tries to make the claim that some of the tier 1 players that have been playing for years and years going to the online era didn't lose some motivation.
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah,
too.
you're fudging things a little bit. But look, regardless, and specifically to this matchup, to G2 as a team, the one thing I'm hanging my hat on with G2 is how well niko is playing at the moment. He has been absolutely insane in recent times for G2. He's been like really the only shining star that you can look at this team and really point out as like the most positive aspect. His consistency has been incredible. He's reinserting himself into conversation about one of the best players in the world, and he's just playing so well. And individually, when you go into these best of ones, regardless of the form of the team, yeah, maybe it's going to be slow, maybe it's a little bit shaky, maybe they're working some rust off, maybe they're playing themselves into shape. Regardless, niko can win these best of ones on his own. It's not an easy thing to do, but we know niko's capable of it.
100% he is. I remember it was, well, not this room. It was the other PGL studio before they moved to this location. But 2015, still with Toby Wan casting the kickoff season.
Really, we're rolling back the years.
But this was like the first time I came to Europe to cast.
Yeah.
And one of the first games I casted that event was Mouse Sports that had a young niko, and it was on Mirage. niko Sports, and he was on Mirage. And this was before, because remember, they benched him for a while as well.
Yeah.
Like, this was his first time in the team before they were like, whoa, hang on, dude, you don't speak enough English. Like, you're not developed as a team player yet. But, man, he had like 17 kills in the first 7 rounds of Mirage. And I was like, yo, this dude. And, like, that's the thing. He has that potential. He always has.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it's probably... to quote Wayne Gretzky, we always do the "you miss every shot you don't take." But the other quote that I always liked from him, the other quote that I always liked from him was, "It's hard to make a 10-foot pass if you're not even having fun." Right? Like in hockey, a 10-foot pass is nothing. Like that's, and he was like, if you're just not in it mentally, it's just tough. And I think that now that he has his cousin on the team, I know that's a weird, like that's not the angle you may have thought I was going with this, but just having that camaraderie, someone that you've known your whole life, someone
that makes sense.
Yeah, there's you can be a little more open with. You know, there's nothing personal, or hopefully there's not, because he's your family member, and you can be a little more open with, or fall back on and rant to. I think that brings you up a bit because you've got a little more comfort in that sense. So I think that probably has a bit to do with it.
Yeah, certainly, and I mean I think that's a fair point to make. How much fun are you having? How much are you enjoying the process of becoming one of the best teams? Because once that enjoyment kind of disappears, it does feel more like work, and it does become more of a struggle. Regardless, they're going to have a tough test. Like don't think that G2 is going to come to this. Obviously, I don't think really anyone's coming to this thinking G2 is going to blow everyone out of the water. But this Copenhagen Flames, despite the inexperience in a studio setting like this, despite the swap up of their positioning where they're playing their matches from, still a team that has just caught fire. And once, like you said, once you get that momentum, once you catch fire, once you start feeling good, your confidence in yourself rises, confidence in teammates rises, confidence in your team overall rises, and that elevates everyone on every level. So they're hitting a really nice position at the right moment as Copenhagen Flames, and we'll see if they can carry it through one more stage of this major. We're live into the pistol round. G2 Esports taking on Copenhagen Flames at the PGL Major.
And we start out on Ancients, which is, I think, kind of exciting. We're seeing it in best of ones. I don't think we saw it in any best of one in the Challenger stage. I think we saw it only when the best of threes came out. Don't quote me 100% on that, but I'm fairly certain.
Well, we didn't see it.
We didn't for sure, but I'm pretty certain we didn't see it in best of ones at all. But of course, someone will prove me wrong who's got a better memory than I do. Hunter, he needs to get better aim in this situation because he's being run down. Yabi and Zyphon take down both the cousins. The Kovacs are gone. Nexa's still alive, though, and he'll take out niko. I will make sure I say niko as much as possible because niko and niko are in the server. There's, 4 nikos now in Counter-Strike. Nexa's still holding his own. Yabi's turned back around. Remember, the bomb has been planted on the site this whole time because obviously they're working backwards through cave. The problem is, by going backwards to try and take out nexa, they've given up position, and Zyphon's away from this. Omenek's on it. He's got a kit. This is done. That's diffused. Well, oh, it's not. He got off it. I thought he had that. I think he could have stuck that and got away with it, but he secures it with a kill anyway.
He might have done a great job. Good communication between Omenek and jackz, because Omenek was originally holding that murder hole for that kind of a push with the kit, and jackz calls him back to get on the bomb. jackz doesn't even need to body block. He just needs to present an image like he's gonna swing and take a fight, like he's gonna commit to it, and that slows everything down in the 1v2. Pistol round goes to G2, and we touched on maybe a little bit of shakiness, a little bit of rust coming in for G2 into the stage. I think we saw a little bit of that with the Hunter exchange in his initial battle. It wasn't as clean as we normally see Hunter is, but that's all right. Shake it off and get back into things. Second round coming in, utility being tossed out. The plant has given rifles over to Copenhagen Flames, and Yabi is going to push up and spam towards the smoke, but Hunter is forced back immediately just by utility, and niko misses an opportunity. The flamez betrays him.
Does indeed. So Yabi looking sharp so far. nexa trying to play that pillar and let them get wide, but they still check it because even if they were looking to cave, that's not a hard snap to make. And Roy gets the kill, gets on the scoreboard as well. And Hunter's backing out of this. This is going to be a win from Copenhagen, so well played from them.
There's a little bit more of that shakiness, a missed timing on nexa over at that B bomb site behind the pillar. He had them lured in, he had them pushing on his position, and they didn't know he was there, but never really found the courage to take a fight, to peek out and grab one of those kills.
Just to be clear as well, it's 12:17 here in Romania. We're an hour ahead. It's 11 a.m. in Sweden, Stockholm.
Stockholm, yeah.
And I was trying to think of the Central European
Yeah,
time.
they're an
I
hour
believe
behind
there.
us, yeah.
Yeah, so the point I'm making, look, and during the online air, there's been some weird hours, and these guys at LANs know to get up and get active, but it might be the first time they've played this early as well. So not only is G2 coming in cold, like we said, and they may not, I know it's, I'm not trying to make excuses.
No. I'm not laughing at you. It's just, it is the way. Esports is probably the only competition where having like morning game is like a topic of conversation.
Normally I would say no, because look, if you're a top team and you're going to play at LANs, you have to be prepared for these. But the fact that it's day one, you haven't been at LAN in a while, you haven't boot camped, as we say, and you don't get time to wake up and like watch other games or do some warm up. You don't get as much. You've got to be out of bed maybe more than earlier than you're used to. It can definitely affect you on day one. Not trying to make excuses, but it is certainly a factor for of all the teams like that. I would say if anyone boot camped or was ready, sure. But G2, I'm a little worried about their preparation.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair play. Well, they do save 3 weapons into the round and pick up some pistols alongside it. And going up against a fully kitted Copenhagen Flames attack. Again, the mid-smoke. And this time a leisurely mid-control for Copenhagen Flames.
Not the Copenhagen Wolves.
Not just Copenhagen either.
Copenhagen. Probably butcher that, but that's fine.
Can't just call them the Flames either.
No, that's Calgary.
Ooh, jackz, good win. He does get dinked. There's still 3 defenders on this B bomb site, and here we go.
Good shot from Zyphon, though, to trade back on Amanek. That'll allow them in. Smoke goes down. Defensive smoke at that, and it's going to be nexa moves around with the Deagle to get a better angle. Meanwhile, they'll push back toward boxes and start to probe the map elsewhere. I find it interesting because I thought mid was like directly middle was going to be more of a point of contention. Interesting they lost one at top mid this time because they're trying to wrap the site, which is a cool strategy as well early on when the guns and utility may not be there. And they're going to try it again, actually. That's kind of cool. They're going to double down on it.
Well, it's way easier this time, too. With 2 kills, they know they've kind of thinned out the defense. They're going to have to spread, and it's going to be a little bit weak. So they know they're going to have real estate that they're able to take. There goes niko.
nexa still waiting at Woods. He'll find one. Needs to be aware of this wrap, though. Cave's the position. And they've already come from Cave, which means the wrap doesn't matter. Now they actually can cut off rotations with that position going through. Roy does that perfectly. Yeah, just the boxes positions become more of like the early battle spot than even mid itself. And I thought that might not be the case, but it's because the timings for the CTs, they can push up so much. You've got to hold that territory at the very most for the T side.
Oh, that's unfortunate for G2 after the pistol round win. Not able to convert the 2nd or 3rd round, so back to USPs as they just try and save some money. And again, top stairs smoke, mid-control for Copenhagen Flames. Hooksy's going to lead the way with that MAC-10. He gets dinked up. They're going to come right through it, but the MAC-10 does work. AK-47's at range in support as well. Perfect job baiting the MAC-10 in mid. And Copenhagen Flames is going to get an easy win.
nexa still just holding it out. Doesn't quite catch the backside of niko. Goes down as a result. It does feel like we're into it now, doesn't it? You're seeing some of these legendary teams and names come back to the front. And certainly has that major about it now, that aura of all the more typical legends coming back. Only 5 players, I think, is it now that remain that have been in every single major? Device, Dupree, Zippix. Who are the other 2? Olaf, and was it just the 4 or was it 5?
I think it's just the 4.
5th. Okay, maybe they're down to 4.
Ooh, Amanek's got a good shot. That's a quick pressure applied over at the A bomb site, and he responds. And that smoke actually gives him a little bit of a cheeky one-way over the top, and thankfully no one from Copenhagen Flames is really challenging it, because that's that might make things a little bit easier for the G2 AWP. Flashbang is going to force him off the angle.
Shocks as well, I think, is the other.
Yeah, you're right. 5.
Yeah, I thought it was 5. So Zyphon waits top side of middle. Molotov will go deep in the red room. Murder, red room.
Red room.
Yeah. Well, Roy trying to tap through the smoke with the Galil. Niko's on the other side, just trying to hold it off right now. No damage really done at all to G2, but they have the man advantage, and they'll try and just be comfortable with that. Amanek instead will take the AWP toward the murder hole smoke.
Yeah, and he's switched positions. Remember, he got that opening kill over at the A bomb site. Now moving completely to the other side of the map, and that might surprise Copenhagen Flames. A missed opportunity. He's burning and blind. Not ideal.
I think the sound helps him there, because fully blind, he was in the Molotov. He doesn't hear the tick. I don't even think he realized he was burning until that, so gets away from it smartly. Niko now has to hold forward, but that means his backside's exposed, and they smoked off Amanek. Now we get to see this boost, though. Rifle boost. Roy's forward enough, though, and he's going to go through. Good play from nexa. Reads what the smoke reads, and sees just on his peripheral. Yabby gets boosted up, so they don't get the shot toward the pillar, that easy lineup I've talked about, but they do still manage to get 2 kills and leave it at a 4-on-2 post plan.
Yeah, G2 bailed out, I think, by the aggressive philosophy of that play from Copenhagen Flames, and jackz is taken down. He gets a little bit of damage. They got to take care of Zyphon. They know where Hooksy is as well.
Exactly that. Even though he goes down, he tells them he's away from the bomb site, and he tries to switch over to the AK knowing he's going to be run down, but it let them take the site with more confidence. Find the bomb, sir. And get the kits and get the defuse. So they'll get away with it. Yeah, even though he dies to the AWP, guys, he's far away from the site. Just get in there until kill the second player.
That defense over at this B bomb site, though, they haven't really settled it. They haven't figured it out. That's a couple miscues. Niko felt very uncomfortable in that scenario, realizing he was going to get wrapped from Jaguar, and then also realizing the attack was surely going to be coming up the ramp at any moment, and he couldn't decide whether he wanted to sit back and play it passively or push down the ramp either, and he gets caught in the middle of both decisions. Earlier was nexa with a bit of a miscue behind the pillar, so that might be something Copenhagen Flames want to go back to and lean on, that they're having some success getting into the bomb site, at least at the A site.
Hunter holding out middle. This is the other play that I thought they could...
Yeah, but he's going to call it clear. Yabby's actually got a sick route.
Insane. Yabby, I thought would just take that shot. That's why I was like, does he not see him? The angle looked like he was like... Like, I'm sorry, it just confused me. This is brilliant, because he's gone right through. Yabby is just showing his absolute class right now. This is something you need to see from a highly experienced player. This time he'll make no mistake, because Hunter's going to rotate. He'll take him down. That was the mid, and I was about to say, that's the other answer. If Niko's not confident here, get someone in middle so you can at least support the box position, but Yabby one-ups them now, and in fact, his second kill in the round.
Niko and nexa need to do something, because jackz is in such a weird position. He knows he's getting pushed. He knows one's in CT spawn that took out Hunter, that took out the rotation, so he's got to push towards Donut to find some safety from that flank, but still aware of the possibility. And Yabby has basically rotated his entire team around and joined up with them, and that's a difficult battle for jackz.
Hooksy with the kill. Bomb goes over toward B. They saw Hunter rotating back over, and they knew that he was the mid player, and Niko was still on the B site, so A had to be more open now. Full flank from nexa. And Niko not even trying this, so looking for exit kills. I imagine he's not even going to enter the stairwell to the A tunnels. Yeah, decent round, you have to say. That's, I'm impressed with Yabby. Even I was like, man, what's, like, really? He's just going to keep going? But that's trigger discipline if ever. He knows that Hunter has no idea he's gone by.
And look, remember, Copenhagen Flames have tried that a couple times in the early stages to sneak somebody in through the stairs. I wonder if Yabby, I didn't actually catch if he saw the player down mid and knew he had a free route to make it all the way in towards CT spawn. But certainly when he hears... I believe it was Amanek rotating over towards the B bomb, so those footsteps give it away.
It's the problem for nexa trying to play exit kills in that position is they don't actually have to leave that tunnel area. So might have done well to push up just a little further if he was going to look for exits, but at the same time, they don't have a lot of money either, so he just wants to make sure he's not overextended to lose his AK-47 on the CT side.
Yeah, but they can't pick up anything around this AWP on Niko, the AK-47 on nexa. Actually, Niko could drop a gun over to a teammate. He's got full utility, but even that wouldn't make it a very strong buy. So G2 is going to chill. Niko likely going to get aggressive and look for a kill with that AWP early on to find a 5-on-4, find an advantage for his team, and then move it around the map. And G2 is going for a blind stack at the A site, while Copenhagen Flames sends all 5 players towards B.
So smoke set execution, flash to top ramp to allow them to try and push out as well. There it is, back square, going to be completely covered off.
They're not wasting any time.
No, this is fast. Minute 24, they're already in the site. And they know that they're up against a pretty ropey buy, which means they're probably up against pretty ropey utility. So even though theirs is gone, and yes, they get the site, they haven't got a kill, there's not going to be a lot of utility to actually push them off of their post-plant positions. And in fact, probably going to make this a save. Might be one of those very rare rounds that we have 10 players staying alive. The pacifist round.
Yeah. We enjoy those. Everyone take a breather.
Listen to the tranquil tropics in the background.
Yeah, they do sound, the little chirping sounds beautiful, but you know everything that you hear is probably poisonous. niko's going to get one nice exit kill. I'm just going to preserve the AWP. Hunter would love to grab that AK at the end, but you can see Yabby and Zyphon just waiting. Oh, the bomb blows it down. That's perfect. Gotta love it. Free AK at the end for Hunter, provided by his cousin. But a 3-round lead for Copenhagen Flames.
Yeah, free AK, and the fact that they just saved and didn't have a lot to go with it, now they get 2 AKs in the round and actually get a bit more of a buffer in their economy. They're going to still fully buy and invest into this, obviously, but the point being they're knock that cash down a little bit. And they will be on 3rd round loss bonus this round. So next round they'll go to the 4th. As Omnic already over toward B, out toward boxes. AWP. He's not going to swing wide with the AWP all the way to the corner, but he's in a good position. I told him to swing, go both sides. Couldn't quite catch the second. 2 players already have stepped in, gone to their right on entry. Hunter at least gets niko down in return, and he's going to nade to the smoke, but the Molotov's going out. I like this call from Copenhagen Flames. You go for a fast a fast B, and then immediately switch it up to a fast B on the gun round.
Yeah, they're playing a pretty simple game right now, but it's working. It's at least getting them the plants, and they can play the post plant very well. 3 on 4, however, as the retake begins. jackz looking for something, looking for anything. Yabby waiting over by Temple as well. And G2 running out of utility. They're looking for a peek, and that's the kill that's going to signify it and move him forward.
The shot, though, even though it's suppressed. Zyphon knows they're up close. He gets 2 in that position, but trades are successful. Good retake from G2. And I don't fault Copenhagen Flames for using, I mean, you have to use a lot of utility to take the A site, but for sticking with that fast play, changing it up, trying to get G2 off guard. Now they get a little bit of money built up on the CT side, though.
Well, also, they're playing off the fact that they just punished him in mid, right? That previous gun round of just being able to sneak up mid. Yabby's able to just kind of chill in CT spawn, find a couple of kills on players that don't even realize he's really there. And you're thinking in your head, like, okay, so we've gone mid a bunch. We have this kind of fast-paced mid-take. We've been able to punish it with him once. Surely G2 might put a bit more attention in mid. Let's go fast-paced towards the extremities and try to work our way around it. Now back to mid. Yabby and Zyphon, flashbangs are out. They're going to eat a little bit of utility damage, but no one's been able to really fight. Hunter takes a bit of damage through the smoke, but Zyphon takes more. Good opening kill. A little bit of luck from Nexa. And look at the change of philosophy, Matt.
This is interesting as well. A double donut. Just sounds kind of American when I say it that way. But, yeah, 2 players there, so you're not leaving anyone back in the site. Often you'll see one kind of try and hold that mid and be in position to rotate, but 2 to go above that smoke, knowing that they have been taking middle. And even if they go for that fast A, they still hold a very powerful position to rotate back around. They need to hit the shots from middle. Can't do it. AWP reveals itself. Nexa does get Hooksy, and bomb, I think, was just dropped. Was it not? Hunter taking down niko means it's on the ground for a moment, at least. Oh, this is sweet. niko pushing up the other side while they're all distracted and have to go for that bomb.
Yeah, Roy's already moved in, and niko's gonna be able to drop the bomb planter. He's not going to expect this kind of a push whatsoever.
They're still thinking that they're pushing up middle, though, and as a result of that, there's 2 players to the top side of middle, CT spawn. They can walk into B for free. niko doesn't have any support here.
Yeah, and this is the play that Roy has to make. So when he sees this clear, he might get a bit of an inkling that it's likely a push down A ramp. He's going to go check this. This is a great call from Roy. niko's going to be a free kill, and then here comes the bomb plant. No one else nearby to put a stop to it. So Copenhagen Flames have found them out of a tough situation, but still going to be an even more difficult post plant.
I think that's a bit of a misplay. I think they had to consider that cave was a possibility because they didn't have full vision that anyone jumped up. Nexa did not keep his eyes on the boxes with that AWP. So they'll swap it over because Omnic is much lower down. Or rather, excuse me, Nexa is much lower down on the HP, but they walk directly toward Roy, and he finds 2. Omnic only gets the 1 in response, and he switches over to the AWP to go on a 1-on-1, but Yabby's only on 6. Smoking immediately on it, has a kit, doesn't know he's far enough away. He'll hear, oh, he should have heard him now in murder. He knows he can go for it, but Yabby's got the lineup through the wall, and down he goes as he tried to get the defuse.
Oh, that's disaster for G2. What a way to find yourself out of a 2-on-4. Heads up play is one of the most experienced players on this team. Roy delivers an experienced play. You push through, you see no presence, you know someone has to be there at some point, and you check the only position that you couldn't see initially. Find niko, and then a great double kill in the post plant.
Makes it all possible. Some more utility toward middle. Hooksy's aware of it, so rather than trying to take mid this time, they're just going to hold it. Roy tagged up through Jaguar. niko probably going to throw that short, so he's probably going to... Okay, he actually went for the long throw. I thought maybe if he saw a presence and someone pursuing, he'd underhand that and back away, but instead he's going to go out himself, Molotov down, which means then he can put a smoke directly on it that will cover the doorway. You can still boost above that smoke as well with the way that the sort of the wooden scaffolding works and see inside the cave. So big box for jackz. We talked about that, I think it was when we saw this map 2 days ago. It wasn't yesterday, but
it was the
yeah,
Brazilian teams.
That's right. You can play a little more aggressively in that A side.
Oh, the timing on that look away. Still manages to recover. Zyphon's going to be upset about that one, but that's just a little bit of pressure applied. That's a little bit of a feint. Pop flash peek. G2's going to get one kill out of it. That's Amanek controlling the spray. niko in support, and that's going to allow the SMG and Hunter's hands to get a little bit close up. Excuse me, it's nexa close up to that smoke as they come through, and he's not even needed. niko shuts him down a clothesline. Another piece of utility coming through that smoke, and Yabby's got to back away. 30 seconds, he's going to try and save this AWP.
I don't know if he'll have much problem with that because look at the money for the CTs. They may not even want to chase.
Yeah, I'd be surprised with how quick that that call came out.
Here we go. If they go together, they want like if they know it's an op, they're going to go for the trade, right? So chance this can still pay off. The problem is the jackz is going to get there first, and the two from the other side aren't going to be in position yet.
He spotted him with that jump.
Yeah, okay, so they should be fine. Even if he gets one, they do get the AWP down, and it's after the time. Oh, he gets the shot. That's all he needs to stay alive? No, nexa gets just around the corner. I thought there was enough time to get away with it, so that's actually pretty good. The fact that it was after the time as well when they get him, that's a win for G2.
Yeah, and I was surprised they kind of went for it, but I am pleasantly surprised. Like, I'm happy they went for it, too, because I think that's an attitude thing as well, realizing 5 players alive, yeah, your economy's still shaky, but go take that gun out of his hands. Don't let it be easy for Copenhagen Flames. And certainly if you'd been able to save that AWP, Yabby would have felt real comfortable dropping a pair of AK-47s over to his teammates, and that's not really an option anymore. So Copenhagen Flames take a timeout. They want to talk things over, figure out if they want to buy in this round. I actually kind of assume they would. You can put together a pretty dangerous buy with this kind of a bank.
Yeah, I mean, Yabby...
The other option is obviously half buy.
Half buy with bomb plants going into a second round loss bonus. Or a loss bonus, since first round loss bonus is default, isn't it? Probably should phrase that better, Jason. But yeah, you know what I mean. I mean, you can definitely get something done with that. So that's kind of where they go. Although I say that is a full investment, isn't it? Yeah, I saw the Galil on Zyphon. It was Hooksy that had the AK, and he had the money. So this is all in.
Yabby's been great. Only 5 kills, but a good amount of impact. But he's put down to 24 HP simply by utility. And Hunter, he's tired of dealing with this mid pressure. He's going to be waiting for this push in as the smoke clears, wants to peek out. Good initial kill. Backing away, a little bit more delay tactics. Another smoke dropped in, and this denies access to that connector to Copenhagen Flames. So they have mid control, but now they don't really know where exactly they want to go. Amanek is positioned in temple, staring towards Donut.
Waiting it out. Flash, bounce. Oh, it's actually a good flash, but none of his teammate goes down before it blooms. Pops, I should say, and can't get the shot off. And then what a shot as well to follow up on the repeat. Leaves it in a 3-on-3, but bomb is now planted. And the rotations are all coming from CT spawn. Hunter's the first and closest, but he's got flames at his feet. Wants to swing out before a Molotov or can be put in that position again, or rather a smoke that Roy has at this point in time. niko does takes down niko. Zyphon, Hunter gone. Nex is next in line. This should be around for Copenhagen. He at least cleans up on the first kill that went against them, but with the bomb planted as it is and them rotating back around in the space which he previously occupied, should be straightforward. Flash out, gun barrel spotted. He knows where they both are now based on that trajectory. Does he? Oh, he can't. He can't hold it. Time's gone. If he had held it there, perhaps, maybe, but no kits. It wouldn't have happened, and he's dead anyway. Dead now, of course.
Dead now, of course. Man, that round is kind of lost on that initial defense. That was a good setup for jackz and Amanek, and only managing to get the 1 kill between the two of them. You can't go 1 for 2 in that situation, and that'll be frustrating to them. Frustrating as well to the players rotating over to try and retake as well. 3-round lead for Copenhagen Flames, although both teams have a sketchy amount of cash, and I don't think G2 can really bring a whole lot to bear in this round. Another timeout to discuss things for the Danish side. Good kills towards the end for nexa, but it's not a whole lot of consolation. Not much of a silver lining in taking those weapons out of their hands.
Remember, this is a best of one. Interestingly, I put G2 on my predictions for today, but with the context of what we said before the game, I don't know what I was thinking. Because, yeah, Copenhagen Flames has been doing so well already, blowing my mind in the first
That awkward moment when you make a prediction and then your pregame segment argues yourself out of your prediction.
Yeah, what did I do that for? Because, yeah, Copenhagen Games has already been playing in this event. They've been absolutely red hot, fitting an app to the name. And G2, we knew there was going to be some issues potentially coming into this. Maybe they could have blown us away on that, but it certainly isn't a traditional way to go about business coming into a major. Shadow shows. That gives niko the chance to fire instead, but he's very inaccurate trying to track down nexa, who swings out wide with the USPs and gets some support from his teammates. Meanwhile, though, the wrap and the flank from the cave, and they control and pinch the ramp. Job done, 8-4.
Yeah, nice job getting that first kill, but there's really nowhere to go after that from G2. Reinvesting into the round, M4 is being picked up. Almanek has enough for an AWP and light armor, or utility. And he goes for utility. The op hasn't been bad for G2. It's been able to find some picks and some opening kills, but we haven't seen any like sequences. We haven't seen any multi-kills when the teams are actually attacking the bomb site. It's usually that first kill and it's traded off pretty quick. G2 wants to control middle. jackz puts out the Molotov. Copenhagen Flames applying the pressure to the middle of the map and pulling niko in that direction, but the real hit is going to come in towards the B bomb site, and he's currently locked out by a smoke. nexa is going to have to do good work individually before his teammate gets back, before niko can come help. Blinded, there's the first frag, already wrapping upon him, and niko did get back just in time. Yabby finds a trade, and niko's just going to survive and wait for his teammates to show up.
Shot from niko. Manages to catch out Yabby running through clotheslines, but now he can swing. HooXi hasn't made his way to the site. Has to be a little bit aware of what's still behind, but shots through the wall tag him up. That confirms he's behind the pillar, and the 1-2 punch from the Kovacs pays off as Hunter comes back out to avenge his lost cousin. It's niko that goes down, and we get to 8-5. G2 responding in a good time before the half. They'll get an AK pulled over, at least one. I think there might have been two. There might be one on the ground right now. They're going to grab post-freeze time here. There it is.
Great round from niko. Good job getting back in time as well. The second kill, I think nexa was certainly going to go down, and he was going to get traded by that second player if niko wasn't there. Right at the perfect moment. 8-5, it's a 3-round lead for Copenhagen Flames. G2 going to do their best to chip into that at the end of this half. Blinded is jackz, as Copenhagen Flames come right through the utility, sent down mid. niko wants the follow-up battle. Ooh, and the timing is horrible. Zyphon had just gotten past his angle, and HooXi showed up. Almanek, no scope,
wow.
And almost a third, almost recovered.
Technically a quick scope based on what the UI says, but yeah, that's pretty much as no scope as it gets. He didn't have any vision after clicking in. nexa is going to take down Zyphon. That was a pretty stunning display from Almanek, but it's still not done yet. It might be. Hunter walks out. They had no idea to check backside of Donut as he comes through the smoke with an MP9.
Yeah, he had the perfect timing. Smoke plumes as soon as he's taking a step to it. And he knows no one's going to be staring at that to look for his play. They're doing just enough, G2, to stay alive in the CT side. And as it's gone on, it was, as we said, a little bit shaky at times, early going, a little bit, some miscues as G2 kind of played themselves into this game, but it seems like they're getting a bit more comfortable as time goes on. 8-6. Final round of the first half, final round of G2's defensive effort here on Ancient.
So Hunter already checking middle, making sure no one's going to be pushing up that direction yet. What a time to turn it, though, to make this potentially an 8-7 scoreline when the money was gone just 2 rounds ago. Good push this time. No one's going to catch off the AWP player at the bottom of the ramp quite so easily, but nexa gives himself up, checking the doors, and now Almanek has to get away. Oh, my goodness. Is he actually behind them again? There's no way. I thought he was going to get out. There's no way they lead that gap twice. The fact that nexa went down let it all be too easy, as niko now has to basically retake. Despite the bomb, oh my goodness, what a shot, is not down. The fact that he just took down niko that quickly before the smoke was in position is actually huge, because now it sits in a 3-on-3 and they buy themselves so much time and space. Yabby's gonna plant. niko wasn't quite in position to spam, and he does, but he's late to it, and smartly, Yabby stays behind the pillar.
Yeah, he's spamming for the exit, knows he couldn't stop the plant. Hunter and jackz now moving up along the wall. Utility spent. Smoke used to block off any of Yabby's teammates in support system. Hunter turning the corner, no one spotted Yabby just yet, needs to be a trade. jackz doesn't react in time, it's niko. Left in a 1v1, he knows exactly where Zyphon is, and there it is. 4 kills for niko. And that's a 7th round for G2.
4 kills for niko, and he makes up for the fact that they again left a gap from Cave. It's such a common position. Everyone's playing it by default, and twice Roy is able to get through. That time, even insult to injury adds the knife. But niko does recover.
I wonder if that might be something they noticed, or also, I mean, it's around the Copenhagen Flames is coming in with just pistols and armor. Like, take a risk somewhere. It is just kind of interesting that it's worked out so well for Roy a couple of times. And if it weren't for niko, that would have been around for Copenhagen Flames. 17 kills on nexa, 13 on niko to end the first half.
Shots out. As we look back at some of the highlights, it was niko's round that really took things back into their control and made this 8-7 a very, very workable scoreline. And Copenhagen Flames getting challenged early on in the Legends stage after being one of the 2 teams, as we mentioned, to go 3-0 in the last rounds.
B rush.
Let's do it.
They don't rush.
Okay, well, you got me excited.
I was excited. Then I did see the utility, and I was like, that's probably not going to be a full rush.
Hang on, wait a minute.
Plenty of smokes, Molotovs, and flashbangs for G2 to find an entrance. Roy's going to push up. He has been bold throughout this half. It's paid off. That's an awkward fight for him. Hunter gets the gush, but somehow he's traded. Plenty of players there in the boost up. They're going to come right through. They know there's so many players flanking so quick. They get aggressive. Now they're going to bail out to the A-bomb site. Except the bomb is down.
Shot out. Roy's got jackz out of this round. niko. The one that's gone, Zyphon. Trying to make his position known to support Roy. Has a smoke that covers off Cave, doesn't cover the other CT, but niko pushing up behind, wrapping around. It's an easy kill at that point in time. No bomb plant required. We're tied on 8. Important to note that Copenhagen Flames technically becomes sort of the highest seeded Danish team in this event now, with Heroic not making it through 3-0, and Astralis' struggles as well.
Bit of an awkward moment.
Kind of crazy, right? They aren't even in that contest or competition or that argument, I suppose you could say, for a long time, and that's the way it goes. Now, they did lose a map, interestingly enough, to Heroic in the previous stage, despite going 3-0. That was obviously in the deciding best of 3. But the wins that they did have were all quite convincing. A 16-6 over Astralis. I believe it was 16-8 in their second matchup, and then it was 16-11 and 16-12. So this is a bit more pressure than they've had in most situations right now in this game. G2's definitely making them a little bit uncomfortable.
Keep in mind, too, a little bit more context for this. Beginning of October, these 2 teams did play each other. It was an overtime victory for Copenhagen Flames on Nuke. So G2 looking for a bit of revenge here. Almanac's going to lead the way up with that Galil. They know where Zyphon is. Good damage dealt, but not the kill completed until just now. niko does, swings out. niko's going to keep him pinned in, but they're losing a lot of players.
Come on, just peek one more time. niko just desperately wants that headshot, but look who's behind them again. This guy. Roy, my goodness. Gets another one on the backside of nexa, and by going around the corner, the CZ finds niko. Man, he is awesome right now.
Yeah,
ripping Roy.
He's just being aggressive. He's just pushing. This isn't anything crazy, and I'm sure G2 is getting frustrated and tough to deal with. The amount of flanks from the first half, the amount of just odd, quiet pushes he's done, and here one more time on the CT side, he's finding openings in his G2 setup.
The crazy thing is, this is one of those ones where people are going to look at the score and they're going to go, "Oh, Roy didn't have a great game. He's only 9-12." The impact and the positioning of the kills that he's getting, right?
He's playing like a more like psychological warfare game. Like that's his impact. Yeah, a couple kills, obviously. Some rounds in the first half, he was able to open it up with some crazy flanks and crazy pushes. It's just more making G2 frustrated and think about where that next push is. They're going to be cognizant of his positions moving forward.
Big gap in the smoke over toward the A side. That's tunnels that we were looking out of, trying to spot Yabby that's inside of the totem position. And now hetket will come back. Oh, man, a great shot on the deagle. We've seen a few of them so far this game, but niko does holds his nerve. Yabby's still there to be just as annoying for jackz, who's the last remaining. Low HP, goes down. So converting the round immediately after to go 10-8. Remember, the first half, the pistol round was not converted.
Yes, indeed. Good point.
Thank you.
That's a pretty convincing win and an easier win for Copenhagen Flames after they get those first 2 kills around that G2's fully invested in. So that money kind of goes to waste. Only 1 kill It's not as productive as you'd want it to be, especially with no plant. So back to just unarmored pistols for the G2 side. It looks like they want to get this round over with.
Yes, and of course the point I'm making by saying the first round wasn't converted pistol, this one wasn't either. So despite that G2 has both pistols in this game, they have not gotten the economic benefit of doing so. As Hunter spraying away, Zyphon took 2 dinks, I think, before he dropped, and jackz also seems to have taken some wear. These helmets are coming up. I'm not sure worse for wear or worth for wear, because they both stay alive on those early dinks from the pistols, and that allows niko to come back down. So Copenhagen Flames now take that 3-round spread, and we go 11-8.
And they've opened up with some aggression towards that part of the map. On this B bomb site. It's very well coordinated. Multiple players fighting. Another player pushing up. niko, knowing that his teammates have got all the attention, he's going to have an easy flank down the B ramp. Round 20. Back to a 3-round lead for Copenhagen Flames. 11-8 on the CT side of Ancient.
Back off. Yeah, he puts a smoke down at the tunnels as well. That's going to make sure that they can't come out very quickly onto the A site. niko trying to work his way up and trying to work his way out. Is walking into the site clean. Did he actually spot him there? Because I couldn't X-ray off that. I mean, I love turning X-ray off in these situations, and I'm glad observers have become better and better at that, because it just shows how quick these guys have to be and what they actually see. For us, it's almost telegraphed, right? But man, oh man, they're so accurate. You can see it again. Fires try back in the smoke, but tracers reveal exactly his position, and niko is lost to niko. As now they'll hit on the A site, though. He was all a ruse. His dry peek, no utility used, just created so much space.
Yeah.
As niko's done his job in this round, undoubtedly.
Chalk another round up for niko. Brilliant double kills, and yeah, just a warrior heading up that ramp and fighting everything. That's a beautiful thing to see. The only way they stop him is spamming him through the smoke, but it pulls all the defense away from the A bomb site, which is actually the real point of contention. Hunter looking to take some guns away at the end. He might have the opportunity. niko and Yabby, excuse me. But they're looking for this peak. Good first kill, the follow-up. Now he wants to protect the AWP, knows niko is going to come into him, but can't handle it either way. Not bad to just take one more weapon out of their hands, and I don't think G2 has any reason to chase this down with any kind of assertiveness. So they get a 9th on the board as they still fight back into the game.
Bomb explodes, and yeah, we immediately get the response. This is similar to what we saw in the first half. In fact, it was pistol 1, 3 rounds lost, next round 1. Now, they were doing that on the way of diffuses in the first half, which meant that there was some money being saved and garnered by getting the plants, especially this time. It's the other half, the CT half, a little more expensive. Got to pay taxes for the guns when you get them legally.
Legally being the operative word there.
Well, presumably the terrorists don't really care about taxes.
You'd imagine so.
That's the real crime, I think.
Zyphon ready and waiting. Around the edge of the smoke, gonna get mollied out of position, and that's the signal to move forward. Roy doesn't have enough... Excuse me, G2 didn't have enough bodies to watch for that push. I think someone had eyes on it, they just couldn't see him through the edge of the smoke. So Roy just being a nuisance, annoying this entire game.
Yeah, the fact that he's able to get away from that because the smoke behind him means the box player can't see him, and there's actually 2 in that elbow position, and they just can't. Like, that's perfectly struck. So we'll see the mid-contests, and this is the response to it. Roy doesn't have to stay aggressive. Hooks, he's able to react. He's able to play this. They still have Cave, and this is the difference, right? Last time what we saw was niko trying to slide up toward that ramp position, or Omenik in the case when it was him with the AWP, and they still had the top mid player waiting for the push through, but they left that gap at Cave. This is the complete opposite. They'll give up ramp, knowing that they can control middle and Cave, and therefore actually kind of pinch them in even on a retake.
Yeah, well, if they don't have anyone watching this, we've talked about it a number of times, and we all know Roy's going to push at some point. If they all go up this B ramp, certainly Roy is going to be able to make his way down, and that's an easy kill. No flashbangs, all the utility being used now. jackz peeks just before it and gets picked off. And now they certainly don't have enough bodies to really keep a close eye on that flank.
niko niko gets one at least before the bomb goes down to make things a little bit better in the post plant because they were down 2. Now it's only a 1-man loss, and he's got a chance here. Shadow shows, and he makes no mistake as his little toes. Hooksy comes around the corner, but Zyphon managing to get him back will still keep this close, make this possible. There's a kit in play. Zyphon has it picked up. He's the one that's holding on to it. Meanwhile, Yavi is not going to be able to spot Aminik. That little nook on the ramp is enough for him to stay very close, get a quick peek with the AK, and, oh, he's ready for it, though. They've read it. They know that he has to be holding from somewhere, but he swings wide. Zyphon's got the shot instead. They didn't spot Aminik. They didn't see him. He peeked after, in fact, the reload and the retake was in position, so they couldn't actually hold the angle. Bomb will go off, and everyone will go down. But the objective achieved, and it's now a round for G2.
That's a great clutch from G2, a great post-plant played, but I mean, again, props over to niko as well. Getting a kill through the smoke, pushing up, being aggressive, thinning out the retake and delaying things, giving time, giving space over to his teammates to get in better positions, and they even handled Roy over in Jaguar. Third time out called by Copenhagen Flames. Now it's their turn to have some struggles on the defensive side handling this attack. 1-round lead, it's dwindled, and a great advantage for G2 in this next round to be able to even things up. It's going to be against what should be, what you'd imagine would be unarmored pistols.
Presumably.
Presumably. niko and nikodas, both with 20 kills.
The battle of the nikos. And impressively, one of them is playing it on DOS. That's crazy. Thanks.
I'll give you a sympathy laugh for that one.
Yeah, thank you.
It's early still.
Thanks for dignifying me.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're going to have a slight moment to chat things over a little bit more, Jason, because we've lost Hunter from the server. No, excuse me, it's not Hunter that we've lost. He's still
jackz.
there. jackz. There you go. See, it's like, you know, the 5 players, one leaves, and immediately your brain's like panicking, like, oh, which one is it? It should be so easy to single out, but it never is. So jackz is disconnected. I imagine we'll get him back in here momentarily. And yeah, look, I'm not looking to stir controversy, Jason. I don't know.
It's not your thing.
It is kind of my thing.
Just get into it. Throw the grenade and back away.
Coaching rule.
Okay.
I don't want to feed the I can see arguments both ways. What's your take on it? The new ruling, obviously, for those of you who don't know, coaches can no longer yell nice between rounds. They can have absolutely no interjection, not allowed to touch players other than when timeouts are called and they're actually permitted to speak.
I hate and despise it on pretty much every single level, but on the other hand, we did have 30-some cheating coaches, so I hate those guys more.
Yes, yeah. I think there's a way to police what they're saying, though. Like tapping and touching the players, there's always going to be ways of getting advantages. Even a fist bump versus a high five could mean one thing over the other based on what the other team's doing with economy. Honestly, in my opinion, though, if you're going to go that far and have that much code built into it, kind of fair play. Like if that's the level that you want to put into dedication and things, like in some ways, but at the same time, and that's also minor, right? Like it's not like he's telling them exactly everything, but like the things that could be easily policed are just don't let them touch if that's the case, and don't let them yell out other things like that. People were saying that you could yell out like "Go be this round, nice!" Like, you know, and that should be relatively easy to police, but to take the emotion out of it, I thought Scrawny had a fire tweet about it, by the way. You can go look that one up, but I don't know. I kind of think that kills some of the passion.
There's some truth to it. It's just I personally don't care about tapping on the shoulder and fist bumping. Like there's bigger fish to fry to improve things. But yeah, regardless, it is kind of hard to take a stand about it when again we had 30-some cheating coaches.
Yeah, and absolutely, and that's disgraceful as well. And yeah, the difference here as well, though, keep in mind, is that they're not in a server, and they're not, you know, when they're playing online, they're sitting in the server themselves, like directly. They have a 6th PC, which they've done at some LANs. They have actually given coaches PCs in certain. I'm trying to think back of what exact LAN it was, but in group stages before, not on stage, they could, you know, especially when they played.
had it.
I think E-League, you're right. Yep. So in that situation, okay, sure, like that's a bit more of a problem, but right now you've got an admin behind them as well, and they are literally taking information fragmented from 5 screens in front of them. I see both sides of it. Yanko's point, I think, was, you know, if the rule existed all along, we wouldn't even have this conversation, and it wouldn't be a problem or a potential for a problem. But anyway, again, I'm just curious for your opinion. I'm not looking for a right and wrong in that. I'll let other people make up their own mind on that.
Yeah. Okay, so I said unarmored pistols. Copenhagen Flames goes the other direction. Full investment. Everyone down to, everyone pretty much invests everything they can. Yabi's got 850 built up. That's the most money. niko's on an island here all on his own. He didn't expect the push, and he's a little bit fortunate. Actually, he's very fortunate. He's still alive. About half HP as he backs off. Alone at the B bomb site, the rest of his team heading towards A. The bomb is dropped way far back, so if they ever got the kills or needed to go back for the bomb, it would have delayed things just a little bit. Thankfully, all the fights go their way. And man, with this kind of an investment in this round from Copenhagen Flames, next round is going to be that easier advantage for G2 against, this time it should actually be the unarmored pistols, and then you're looking at a G2 lead.
Roy all the way around through T-spawn, and the last alive in this round holding on to an AK-47. Don't think he's really going to say much about this. Pretty straightforward round then. Bomb's going to go down. G2 going to knot this up 11-11, and money very equal on both sides, and that neither team has a lot of it. This will give a slight advantage to G2. Oh, he might even get caught here. Hunter's got to be careful because he did look right but didn't spot it, and he's gone all the way into that corner. So Hunter, I think, might go down. Okay, he held out. He held his nerve. Again, I mentioned this. You're outside of the dead zone from the bomb with good HP there. I think even with just about any, I think it only does like a sliver of damage from you at this distance.
Oh no, he's gonna. Don't do it. This is like that horror movie. Person in the movie, they're like, don't go there. Don't open the door. Don't go into the basement.
I think he was smart enough not to walk through, but I had a feeling he'd be saving over there. But yes, you're right. It's
11-11. We're all tied up. Round 23, and Copenhagen Flames invested everything in the previous round. This time they got to chill a bit. Picking up some upgraded pistols, but economy is going to be a factor for this Copenhagen Flames CT side, where everything it feels a bit more expensive down the stretch of this game. Oh, trying to nade stack, and Hunter ruins everything. Good triple kill, and he even knows one more is there. nexa wants to get on the action. He wants to stat pad. He adds one more. So does jackz, and even recovers the AK-47. So no harm, no foul. It's G2 with their first lead since winning the pistol in the first half.
It's a good point. Yeah, the very first round of this game, despite that they've kind of been in it throughout. A bit of a gap on that, I suppose, when it was like 8-5 or whatever the case was. But yeah, it hasn't been a runaway by any means.
Looking back on that first half that G2 played, that was really scrappy. It's actually, again, we kind of talked about it, playing themselves into this game. First game at the tournament as well. Always a bit sketchy. We see upsets at this stage of the major each and every time, essentially. And G2 really had to fight tooth and nail in the first half. A lot of punctuated rounds, not things built together, but now they're starting to build up into a nice place. 4 rounds in a row for the G2 offense.
Backboarding that nade lands straight on top of them, so nexa and Hunter take a good chunk of damage from it. They'll go back toward middle and try and take position. A stream update just for you, Jason. FaZe has already beaten Evil Geniuses 16-6, so a lovely start for them to continue on. Again, another challenger team that has already warmed up into this event, getting the victory.
Nice. Yabi had no idea his head was poking up. Roy blinded twice. It has to allow safety for the plant. And I don't... Ooh, they're going to go for this. They are close enough. Roy wants to just see if he can find a kill. I don't know if they want to commit to this retake. They've got no kits. They've got one smoke for the bomb, so they better be perfect.
Well, jackz already has Roy when he swings. Nice shot from Zyphon as he gets back into position. AWP needs to watch Donut, needs to get wider, but they're aware of a problem, and I think they're going to back off this. 16 seconds. They know they can't get directly in the sight, and look who's waiting for the exits. They've got to clear this, or they're going to lose their weapons, and down they both go. Niko, your teammate died in front of you. Why are you jumping through the air? I think he was already pre-committed, to be fair.
Yeah, that was a borderline call to go for that retake. I think because Roy was so close and he had already kind of sneaked in close to the bomb site, it lured him into the idea of it. And then a follow-up kill sucked him in even further, but then they realized it was just out of touch, and that's too late. nexa, good positioning. 13-11, another timeout called by Copenhagen Flames. Yeah, and on the back of that FaZe victory that you just mentioned, I believe I saw somewhere that it was like a record-setting map for Rain, who had an incredible performance.
I'll have to check
an individual record.
That's quite impressive because he's had some great games over the years.
Yeah, he's had quite a few.
Rolling back the years, yeah, 33-14 plus 19, 157.7 ADR, 90.9 cast. and a 2.22 rating.
Look, it's exactly what that entire team and organization has been saying heading into this event, is that when they get to this event, they get on land and they get to the major, it's their experience is going to kick in and bring that team to a new level, and at least looking that way.
Can you just keep talking? I got to look up where to buy a pie in Sweden.
Absolutely, I can.
Okay, keep going.
2-round lead. Now 5 straight for G2. And you get into the nightmare scenario of your Copenhagen Flames now, where you've lost control of not only the map, but also your economy to even be able to fight for some of these rounds.
Roy thought he had the advantage, but niko's too quick. Too quick, and he gets up to now 23 kills in this game. So we... sit and wait. I've noticed another change in the HUD, just to be clear as well. We've got the kills being presented as opposed to the out of 5. It's now the X, which makes it a little simpler to read, but also the DPR. Now it says 40 for Hooksy. I need to pay attention to that, because is that going to be average, or is that actually, because per round would suggest that's an average, whereas it might just be in this round he's done 40 damage of the players that have gone down so far.
Well, Roy has 0 DPR, so I imagine it would just be for the round that's being played.
But that's why I'm confused also, because I thought he did do damage onto niko when he pushed through. Either way.
We'll get that clarified at some point.
Yeah, it's cool to actually add that into a HUD. That's not something we've seen before. I like that they're trying different things like that. Nexa, take down Zyphin. jackz resets his aim to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes on Yabby. And 5 versus 1. G2. Look, I have to say, this is a team that's been red hot. Copenhagen Flames 3-0. We've said it in the Challenger stage. And G2, we were criticizing the fact that they didn't have a boot camp. Maybe that little bit of extra time off, that little bit of relaxation, that confidence in doing that. Well, they're showing it now 14-11. They might get away with the map, and the first team to actually take... It's a best of 1, so of course Heroic did take a map off them, but first team to actually knock them down a bracket, Copenhagen Flames.
Yeah.
Of course, we reset our bracket on day 1 as well. We'll get all 8 games of the 0-0, the opening round done, and we'll reset them for this afternoon. Hunter, good shot, takes down Zyphin. Roy gets one back, and that means nikodas can try and do the same, but niko, man, that flash did a number of things inside of the site, did it not? It blinded up everyone, including 2 of his teammates, but got him 1 assist, and then he got a kill on top of it. He just likes to have his name on the scoreboard some way or another, as Roy, again, is trying to be aggressive behind, but it's still in a 2-on-2. Bomb has gone all the way through.
Yeah, that's brilliant. niko just shoulder peeking in the double doors, not committing to that fight, said, I see both of them. They're both here. Just bail out. They cannot stop you, and that's a perfect escape route. And niko, yeah, it's a long route to get over to that bomb site for him. It's also a really long route for the defenders. You can see on the minimap, Roy's trying to hustle. Hooksy's now meeting up with him, but they're not going to find any kind of timing to find Hunter all on his own. So a 2-on-2 post plant, and Copenhagen Flames desperately need it.
And niko's not sure which way they've gone either. I would have expected with Hunter on low HP, he just sprints to the position his teammate has the information for, that he knows he has, and that he guarantees to at least try and get trades, because if he's too slow getting into donut, okay, he's going now because the smoke's gone down, he might not be able to get this. Smoke's out. Oh, niko did get there just in time, and they both sprayed into the smoke. That could have been a little costly, just if he was too far away hesitating. Yeah. I thought he would just go straight to Hunter.
No, I mean, it was sketchy, right? I thought he was going to go to Hunter as well, but yeah, going mid, he had to take it a little bit slow, making sure that nobody from Copenhagen Flames was going to be there. And a nice 2v2 for Hunter and niko to bring G2 up to 15. 4 chances to close out and move past this. I mean, look, in my mind, this was the most dangerous opening matchup that there was.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's some interesting narratives. I think the heroic Na'Vi narrative is going to be very interesting a little bit later on, as that'll be coming up, I think, in 2 matches' time.
Yeah, that's a very similar one as well. Fair play.
But that's more of a narrative one. The way heroic's been playing and the way the Na'Vi look, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be as close as you might have expected previously. So, yeah, on paper, this one might have been the most interesting, I think is a good way of putting it. But it's tough to say. I mean, there's a few today that could equally be viewed that way. I think Astralis Furia could also be. I mean, what version of Astralis are we going to get that we had, last week as well?
Listen, everyone panicked when they started slow on day 1. I think everyone's forgotten about Astralis and how they build into these events. That's a nice opening kill from Hunter, especially around like this. Great damage as well onto nikodas, and Man, Copenhagen Flames fighting with very little. 1 kit, 2 flashbangs for the rest of the round to convert this 4-on-5. You gotta say, G2's attacking side has been very well done. Once they've gotten control, they haven't looked back.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So Copenhagen Flames look to be extinguished finally. Puts a Molotov G2 inside of that totem position, inside of pillars, trying to hold it off, and Yavi gets 1 kill back, but it's Hunter and Nexa. And Roy on 19 HP. Outside of the site, Zyphon trying to come back around and help him out. Hey, that's me, bud. I'm here. You don't have to worry about someone behind you. Unfortunately, they do have to worry about going for this round. There's no save. This is it. This is the map. This is the match. And this could be G2 starting off 1-0 in our Legends stage, as Hunter will make that more likely. Roy just waiting to go down. Hunter gets both kills. Good start. Welcome to the Major G2.
Yeah, look, it's great for this team with all the struggles and everything heading into this event. They get out to a good start, 1-0, because that would have been a little bit tough if they'd started this out 0-1. But a good win here gets them started on the right foot, and we'll see where they can take things. We'll see how much they can build into this. And look, solid performance from niko as well.
Yeah, a very solid performance from him, and certainly someone that, with all the skill he has, I have been critical of at times. niko sports, I think at times in the early stages, he was just carrying because he had to. But then I think he almost at times was selfish as well about being, an in-game leader against different, he had Kerrigan in the team. There was some turmoil. I think in this team, yeah, he seems a little more matured and less selfish, and it seems to be more of a team effort. And today he was definitely the star of the team in many respects. Certainly mid-round calls, as you mentioned, that round where Hunter wraps around and gets the information from him. Those are the things you look for from your experienced players. They don't try and be the hero. They try and find the ways to win rounds.
And if you're Copenhagen Flames, obviously you're bummed out after having such a good run through the challenger stage, but this is kind of like the next level, and everything for Copenhagen Flames has been like, now, great performance, but can they match it?
That's not right.
But can they match it at the next level? And obviously now Copenhagen Flames, at least not in this early match, but, it is kind of like a journey of discovering how far they can take it. I think they've already kind of, I don't want to say exceeded expectations, but they've kind of met expectations, and everything after here is gravy.
Yes, and if you just switched over, that graphic was wrong. G2 is the winner, not Copenhagen Flames.
They're not following the script.
No, they're not. They're not following the script. But the interesting thing to see now is how Copenhagen Flames respond, right?
Yeah.
You're riding that wave. You just get knocked down a tier. Like you say, this is a much more serious major now. We're getting the top teams involved.
Who are they going to get in the next stage, in the next round when the draw comes? That's going to be a big deal as well.
That's the way the Swiss system works. Now, fortunately, because they came out 3-0, their rating should be slightly higher.
Yeah.
But it is a Buchholz system, and depending on how that all transpires, it makes a huge difference for them, especially where FaZe has already sort of surpassed them now by going 1-0 and coming out of the challengers as well. Yeah, it definitely shakes up the order. I love the Swiss system for that as we look back on some of the rounds. Next, I like that one. That was good. He didn't overcommit to spraying the planter because they were trying to actually counter that boost, and he was well aware of what they were doing. He was pretty solid today as well, you have to say. Pretty good.
Yeah, he was actually great. I feel bad we didn't kind of bring that up probably as much as we could have during the match. niko was having such a great performance, but nexa was up there right with him. So really good performance from him as well, holding on to various parts of the map. I think for the biggest thing for G2 was getting through the early stages, getting warmed up into the game is my mind to this. And oh man, Roy had a great game as well.
Again, yeah,
low numbers.
Not a ton of, exactly, not a ton of kills. It's the impact. He was just getting a lot of map.
It's annoying.
Yes.
Speaking from the G2 perspective, he was great if you're in the Copenhagen Flames.
Yep, absolutely. No, that's super true. And I know all about annoying Jason. I am the king of it. With that, yeah, I mean, solid performance from G2 to get it started. Lots of stuff still coming up, though. Don't forget, I mean, the other game as well, just to note, I know you're coming up, though, with this with your previous history.
Here we go.
Entropic Liquid. I think Entropic, if they come out of the gates flying, could also be an interesting one for Liquid to play against.
Yeah, there could be some struggles there. I think Entropic has some cool factors to that team, and we'll see how well they play. Yeah, in my mind, Liquid's going to win that one. But I'm not unaware of the dangers that Entropic presents.
The factor is more that what Liquid comes out, it's theirs to lose instead of Entropic could win. The other one, just to point out as well, is Gambit ENCE. That we didn't touch on.
I was really excited for ENCE coming into this event, and I'm more excited now about what ENCE can become in the future. But last stage, I'm hoping we get an ENCE that plays better than they did in the last stage. Because look, there are some games I think Snappy might have been a little bit harsh when he says, it's great that we're winning despite not playing well. But there were certainly some games where you're scratching your head and say, ENCE isn't playing that well. So fair play to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that, we will take a break. When we come back, we continue on with the B stream with the Legends stage. It's our opening matches, all best of ones, but it certainly sets the pecking order for the rest of this stage and for the next couple of days. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a sec.
No, we won't.
Just make it really awkward, Jason. It's already awkward. We'll just keep doing it.
I don't like. Okay, that's too.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's time to begin. Indeed, we are back. Everyone's on the server. The game is about to start. It's starting right now, actually. Let's go straight into it. The pistol round has begun, if I'm not mistaken. Let's get into the game. ENCE versus Gambit. We begin. Best of one territory. We are on overpass. There is a nice... you can jump on one of those cylindrical thingy-majiggies, those sewer things where Snappy is standing for a nice angle. Cog. It's not a cog. Anyway, a nice angle towards a short position. Don't see it too often these days, but it does exist, and it's a good one to know. Have a look at that hair. That hair is on fleek. I don't know what that means, but people say fleek, so there we go.
Good job, good job.
Yep, Hobbit charging into the A bomb site with the Glock. He's got all those bullets trying to land that headshot. As we can see, there is one player in the bank. Let's get the X-ray up, see who play. Exiled by Optimus, but there are too many man on road for ENCE, who are looking for an early upset versus the likes of Gambit now. 4 versus 2 as Mafani wonders what to do. Where's the bomb?
That's a good question.
Maybe there is no bomb.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first round that's existed with no bomb.
Yeah, I was going to
spawned,
say. It's got to be under a CT on the minimap or something. That's the only explanation.
Maybe there's no bomb.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
There we go.
Well, Shiro is going to be seeing if he can find the open here. Nope, baited. Doto will take him down. So, not too much to be done here. Napoli with that P250 will get eliminated too. Good shots coming in from Doto to lock it all in. There's the CT start of dreams, the one pistol. Now it's about converting against the eco. No bomb was planted, so no money really for a sizable force buy. I'll be surprised to see it from Gambit.
I'm like the guy who wears polos in CSGO, and Gambit have not sent me a polo. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed. There's a nice colours, there's a strong colours, some blue and red. I think it's a nice change to the jersey. It looks like it's a bit warmer, and studios can often be a little chilly, a little on the colder side. So I'm a fan of, as we can see from the, some people are wearing underlayers with the jersey on top. But I feel like they'll be a little warm. Of course, they are short-sleeved. Well, we've got a pause. I think ENCE were talking to the admins after that first game. So there'll be a little pause here. But winning the pistol, certainly good. And it seems that we are good to go. The contact of the fists will indicate that we are ready. Maybe that's deliberately done to just, because they are in high-pressure situations. But perhaps that just stops people getting frustrated with each other. They have to be nicey-nicey after each round. I would rather focus on my screen, and not have to lift my hands up and just throw them towards my teammates. Just let me zone in on the proceedings.
What can help you feel zoned in as well? Getting the fist bump. Feel connected to your teammate. Need that connection. So only Glocks here for Gambit, so indeed it's a full save for them. Objectives, drain out the utility of your opponents, which you can do by playing pretty slow. But as we can see, we have ENCE that's opted for M4 FAMAS. They don't have a huge amount of util going into this round anyways.
It's a nice popper colour on that FAMAS.
Yeah, it's really nice.
He's patiently just having a look-see. Don't think he realises, not sure if he realises that he's seen 3 different players, but he's seen at least 2. Pretty relaxed, pretty calm is Hades. Snappy keeping an eye on things. ENCE looks pretty comfortable for now. They are up against Glocks at this point. I think Hobbit had a Desert Eagle, but everyone else had the Glocks.
Yeah. You just don't want to give a single kill to your opponents here. You would expect that Spinks will just chill for the rest of the round, let his teammates fill in, and it's happening.
Hades has a lot of trigger discipline, I've noticed, in all the engagements, the opportunities he had. Just looking for information, so we'll see if that has a story to tell as this map continues. So, on the third round, we'll see the AK-47s for Gambit. Hobbit will be shy of grenades due to the Desert Eagle, but the rest will have a lot of flashbangs, smokes. Just the one Molotov in the hands of Exile. So I do wonder if we're going to see a faster round from Gambit now on this first buy round of the half.
Yeah, full util basically, more or less. Only Hobbit to not have everything. And ENCE are
55.
they get the HE onto Shiro, but otherwise, other than that, they're playing somewhat passively here for control. Both Hobbit and Axe are looking after Monster as well for now, and of course we've got the bomb there as well on Inters, so the expectation is to finish on that B site, but they have presence towards A as well. Good opening pick from Hobbit, though, found deep on a Monster defender. That is a huge win, and that's going to force Snappy to actually make a play in connector. They've got to get something back in their courts, and it looks like, oh, how was he alive? Snappy somehow able to actually back out of that one. Unbelievable.
I have to assume Shiro is looking at the radar or something, because it's inexcusable otherwise not to get a kill there.
Crazy.
That is a huge opportunity for Gambit to make it 5v3 and really shut down the round.
And one plus is just that they didn't get a huge amount of information. As far as ENCE are concerned, it could still be a B play. It could still be, you know, Monster play just as well as an A play. They don't really have vision on most of the map. So that's the one plus. And okay, we'll see Hobbit finding a way to finish off Snappy.
Yeah, and ENCE at this point may want to stack a bomb site. They'll hear flashes towards A, but 3 versus 5 with Dihar pretty low. I would imagine they'll just try to save at this point, just quietly moving away. Note how they are shift walking. They're not running away, because that would tell Gambit they're running away and maybe they'll be hunted. They won't give that information, but just slowly slink away with the shift key held down so as not to concede their position. An early advantage there for Gambit. Of course, it wasn't the full buy from ENCE. The weapons they took from the early rounds are present here, so we may see a better look of ENCE later on. No AWPs yet for either side, of course. But it's nice to have some early success on the board as far as Gambit are concerned. The first buy round is theirs. There are still 4 players on the server looking for their first kill, 3 of which are on the Gambit side. Inters, Shiro, and Nafany. No kills just yet, and Dihar. Still early, of course. But we'll keep an eye on these things.
So, starting off pretty well for ENCE overall. Full buy on this next round, and the AWP is coming in to hand here for ENCE, so that's going to be interesting to see how they try to activate that one. We can see that it is, of course, in the hands, as you would expect, of Hades. Been pretty wonderful this tournament so far. Looking for the quick peek, the elevated peek towards T-Ramp. And it's not going to see all that much just yet. And oh no, Doto getting a freebie through the smoke there on Monster Tunnel. I was about to say that is where the emphasis is here for Gambit in this round, around this Monster position. And with Suez control as well, look how active ENCE are. This is great to see from them. And Gambit have nothing on the map right now except Connector.
Yeah, going back to the Challenger stage, I think this is a good proactive example for Movistar Riders, for example, who are a bit too passive in their overpass and taking control of the map and really limiting what Gambit can do. They find themselves in a 4 versus 3 now, ENCE. Still with control of the short B position. Doto sees the flashbang coming, but still eats a little too much of it. That will give Gambit some map control now, although Snappy will try to creep forward with no warning, no flashes, no nothing, and that's an important kill for him. And he knows that one of the remaining 2 players at least is outside Monster as he sees that Molotov land at the barrels. So that's a lot of information for ENCE, which will make Gambit even more scared.
Yeah, I really like how Snappy was playing that, just trying to use the sound cues, understanding that they just killed his teammates, so they got to clear positions. Maybe he can catch somebody mid-clear, and that's exactly what happened. And now I'm just resting on the B site with 2 players. And they have Spinks who's pretty close to A, so they're just setting up for retake on A. Oh, unfortunate. That's the bomb down as well, which will certainly be a huge sigh of relief there for ENCE. They know everything now. And Shiro is so far away from the action, unable to really have any impact here now.
I wonder what the plan was, considering the time and where Shiro is.
Yes.
With the molly on short by the bomb carrier. That's...
Yeah, I don't know how they connect up to kind of play off of each other. I'm kind of trying to work it out too. Not really sure.
Yeah,
but
like is he throwing a molly and running up connector maybe or something? I don't know. Well, 3-1 for ENCE. Gambit are in a position to buy once again. Inters could drop an AWP and be helmetless. We'll see. 3 players haven't bought just yet for Gambit. Hobbits picks up an AK. Still waiting for Inters to make his play. Yeah, so far so good, friends. It's nice to see early proactiveness. No AWP for Gambit after all, as you can see. But yeah, the proactiveness from ENCE with map control and so on is good. We're in for a competitive game of overpass. I think people are expecting quite a lot from Gambit at this major, and you do wonder if the pressure may play a part in things, but we'll have to see. Very early stages here for this game, though, not this major.
Yeah. Full buy again. And again, you know, Gambit's trying to stick towards the B side of the map early on, but they're not really looking for early sewers control. But I'll hold that thought. We might have an engagement here for Nafany, maybe sort of defaulting, you know, slowly poking and prodding around long, as well as Party, and Spinks being so ready by the boulder could cause some problems. Might be a timing for him. Gambit walking through Monster now onto the B site. And, I mean, there are players here. Doto in the water is going to win that battle, and there's more players to go. He's got to try to delay this one. Oh, great job so far. Doto! He's been traded out, but it's a 2v3 here. It's doable for ENCE.
Yeah, bomb falling back a little towards Monster just in case. You can see Spinks is on a very long rotation. And Gambit may slow things down now, which may not be in their favor, as they don't know what the climate is with the remainder of the players. You can see Hades is posted up, so to speak. But generally, you'd want to stay on the left side of that pillar from the T perspective with an AWP in an ideal situation, holding the right-hand side. May see the likes of that from Simple later on. Well, bomb planted. They still don't know where either player is. Spinks coming through from the back, and Shiro can focus on that. They are set up now, ENCE. Nafany's got short, so Shiro can focus, although he's looking towards CT as well. Spinks making his way through. Now he's seen the flashbang. The multi-frag is here, and now Nafany finds himself in some trouble. Playing the off angles, avoiding the flashbang. Oh, what is he up to now? They know exactly where he is. Trying to avoid. That bomb is pretty far taken. There's actually no cover. There's no meat shield, no nothing. Nafany just trying to waste time as best he can. Gets the final kill as well. See if he can grab an AWP. No, just the AK, and he's going to die anyway. But that is a round for Gambit.
Yeah, really surprising. You know, ENCE had a smoke, a flashbang. They had utility to shut down that short position, but opted to just try to go for the stick.
See the slightest frustration there with ENCE.
Yeah, that I think they definitely felt like they should have won that one for sure. That 2v1.
Yeah, what's going on with the lack of cover on the bomb diffuser?
Yeah, it looks very disconnected, didn't it? They weren't really sort of playing together there, and the person going for the defuse was the one with all the util as well.
Yeah,
the smoke, the flash.
There it is, noise cancelling headphones again. I have those in my bag. Those good. These, I don't know what these are.
These are the 4 esports.
No, the in-ears.
Oh right, okay. All right. Well, here's the replay. Just no coordination there. It seems.
Yeah. Like why have I got no cover? Why is there no cover for the bomb diffuser? That's a very good question. And but again, if you're going to mess something up, do it early. Do it in round 5, not round 25.
Well, there's still time to do it in round 25 as well.
Certainly is. A lot of flashbangs for ENCE. They've got some M4s as well, and they will be aggressing, trying to make something happen. They had a lot of rifles though, but maybe they felt like that wasn't enough, trying to make the flashbangs work out. Spinks has an opportunity, although it dwindles a little as Nafany gets deleted and Spinks is soon to go as well, which leaves Hades in a 1 versus 3. The money's together, the bomb's not planted. Seems he was considering it. Maybe he still is. He doesn't have a kit. I'm not sure if there's one around the site. Got to be careful about running in this position because beyond this wall on the left, a player in connector would hear him run. So it seems he will be saving. He's basically looking for the opponent Gambit to give him an opportunity to try and clutch it, but they're not going to do that. So he'll be hiding in plain sight.
Yep, this round.
Oh, he's doing it with no handstand.
I know. Yeah, so I've been watching it the whole time. Yeah.
He's an octopus.
So many limbs. going to be the third round for Gambit. So coming back into this one, it did feel like ENCE were in such a good spot and looked really cozy, just very comfy in the with the AWP and the positions that they had. But yeah, it's suddenly it's all changed. It's all changing quite quickly for them here, and suddenly Gambit is starting to look a lot better. And even though Gambit aren't really taking ground early on, I feel like ENCE are winning the early map control battle, given the fact that Gambit aren't pressuring Suez really. They're not really trying to explore connector quickly, and they're also not going towards bathrooms or long wall that quickly, generally speaking, on these defaults. That said, it's eco territory, just with the saved M4. That's all that there is to play with in this round, and we'll have a long push with the M4. Oh, it's been deflected expertly.
Yeah, Snappy was in tow with a flashbang. I would have liked to have seen, I mean, we saw A play with it, and Snappy's picks up the M4 and tries to fall back and hold on to it. I love that skin that Icarus felt. Snappy, can he find a third one? Oh, he's almost winning the round alone on long. Has he seen the bomb though? No, he hasn't. It's down by connector at present, and Shiro needs to stay alive to rotate that bomb. Spinks can collect the M4 in the meantime. Dihara and Doto getting their boost game on towards short. We'll see if there's going to be a swing from Exile. Gets his bell rung, but with a USP, won't be too concerned with that. In fact, he's got 97 HP.
He dinked Hobbit. He had enough time to dink Hobbit just before dying there. So it is still quite doable if Doto can survive here. Doto, oh, he found just a small moment there, looking for all the damage, and they're all one headshot away from death now, so Spinks can do this. But time is really against Spinks, given that there is no kit in hand, and they know precisely where he's coming from. It's going to be easy.
Oh,
he's found the damage though. And given how low Shiro and Axel are, it is still a possibility, but it has to be quick. Again, almost no time for a defuse here. Would need the full 10 seconds. So it looks like it's not going to be happening here for Spinks, but at least damage is on the board. Remove some of those guns. The money's not good here at all for Gambit. So this puts ENCE in a position where if they win the next round, they can take economic control. The question is, do we want to see any alterations from ENCE's openings? And I'm hard pressed to say yes there, because I feel like what they've been doing early on has been giving them advantages. They take a lot of grounds early on.
Exile could have dropped an AWP in this round, but he bought a few grenades, which leaves him short now. I don't know if they didn't notice or if they're just chilling and don't need an AWP right now. Maybe they'll look to take one away from the CTs when an opportunity arises. We'll need to wait for one of the ENCE players to reconnect to the server before we continue. And one of the Gambit players. Nafani needs to reconnect as well, but indeed there was an opportunity to buy an AWP. So we haven't really seen like a full buy from both sides, I feel like, just yet.
Not quite, no.
I want to see the full output, you know?
Yes, no, exactly. That's what I'm looking forward to as well, which is why I'm sort of trying to understand what adjustments we may get going into the following defaults, because so far Gambit's been very passive, and ENCE is kind of getting what they want at the beginning of the round, and that's the thing that's not so encouraging about what we're seeing from ENCE so far, is that they're not converting off of that super well at the moment. However, what is really great to see is, I think you highlighted this, is that, and I think you used an example, maybe it was Spirit possibly not being sort of active enough on the map on the CT side, and ENCE is really good at that mid-round reaction. So if something happens as a pick somewhere, they immediately are thinking, what is open on the map, what space can we take, and how can we sort of be proactive and take initiative. That's a wonderful sign for ENCE. But as we go back into the round, we can take stock of the buy here, and you were mentioning we haven't really seen a proper full buys yet. We have a Mac 10 in play here by Exile. No AWPs present at all.
I think this is a very deliberate Mac 10. He had the best spawn into the B bomb site, and it is going to be a fast one. He had money for 5 AKs, but that Mac 10 can run and gun. And he can create space for his team, but Diha's going to take that space away. Running out of bullets eventually. That HE is going to do some good damage, which means they are one-shottable now with these silenced M4s, and Snappy will be looking for that. Finds an angle on Shiro, and he really holds things down here. The fast play has not worked out for Gambit. And again, we spoke about the economy already. Inters with the AK-47 left in a 1 versus 3. He has time on his side.
Yeah, unfortunate round for Gambit. I think the fast timing through Monster makes a lot of sense, given that ENCE have been reasonably passive, but they have been more active around the Suez position. So had it been the case that they would push sewers, early timing, then Gambit get through Monster, get onto the site, and they've isolated the defense quite effectively. But their gamble did not work out in that instance. But as you say, Inter's 1v3 has the bomb in hand. He's found his way up the A long position and might be able to get a plant here, especially if he gets a good timing onto Hades, who is playing front bathrooms right now, or back bathrooms, I should say. Is there a spot here? No, not visible toward Divider. Inters must surely hear the stepping. Oh, good headshot, but there's the trade from Hades from bathrooms, and that is so important. And that's going to be 4-4, ENCE tying things up. And unfortunately, again, we mentioned it, the economy was not really all that stable for Gambit, so they will be saving in this round, and then should be back to winning ways.
Yeah, that was a really important multi-frag on the B-bomb site. Early molly on T-ramp. Let's see what Gambit have. Gone for the force buy here with the Galils and the AKs.
They're playing the same kind of setup as they are in a lot of their defaults, actually, where they have a 3 outside Monster and then 2 kind of working towards the A side of the map early on. And perhaps this is to kind of play counter to your teams who like to push Monster, because, you know, typically some teams will have 1 lurk looking after Monster, so you can make a 2-man push with a flashbang and to catch that player, but it's not happening. And these are the most deep players here for Gambit, and Spinks is going to get flashed back over. Nice entry coming through there, though, at the same time on the other side of the map towards Monster Tunnel. So that's the B site entered now. And the bomb to go down.
It's a tight game of both parts so far. No one's really found comfort with money and so on. Hades doesn't know if anybody's down there now, due to that molly being extinguished. 4 versus 3. Do you push in and lose everything here? Well, that's really got to cut things off, and it's going to quickly escalate for ENCE. That's a very rough position.
Yeah.
A very, very rough position for them. Difficult decision to make when you're so close to the bomb site as well, but indeed it will be very costly. And Gambit will scurry away and take the lead. And again, it's a difficult situation for ENCE. We saw them with some chances with a solo rifle, but we cannot really expect much.
It's actually really interesting what Gambit are doing, like strategically right now, because they're playing really passive, as we mentioned. They'll leave 2 players to sort of clear the A side of the map, and then there's 3 just hanging out by Monster. So those 3 players are able to find timings towards that B site where maybe they're in the mid-round, the rotation for the CTs kind of drifts away, and maybe they can isolate 1 player, or maybe the CTs are trying to make an info play and you've got 3 players there to punish. So it gives you a lot of options in that mid-round. So that kind of petrifies, I believe, the CT defense somewhat, because you're not sure when Gambit are going to make a move like that. So if it is the case that conditions ENCE to play more passively on the B site and to play more passively in general, they're going to be able to start ramping up the pace, and they'll get more for free on the A side of the map, I would imagine, as we start to see them defaulting and making alterations. Maybe they won't make alterations, James. Maybe that's the mind games.
Where's the grip tape at? I wonder how many players have grip tape on their mice at this LAN. Probably very, very few.
Yeah, surprising, because grip tape is very good.
Yeah, especially for the finishes on many mice, but I think there's a lack of awareness. Some people have the clammy hand problem as well, so it can certainly help with that. I just find it easier, especially if you have a high sense and or a small mouse and you throw it around a lot. It certainly helps.
So the boost here for Hades to try to find something, the only rifle, the only firepower really on the team, and Gambit just running an anti-eco setup early on, so it's different to those kind of gun round defaults. Instead, very passive around connector, just making sure that anything is pushed towards the B side of the map. You've got Axar to cover for that. So we get to the 1 minute mark, they have to start to make a move. So they can start to clear space towards the site. Now they've isolated that there's no forward plays.
2 players smoking the same position at once.
Just boosting Hades around the map.
Hello. Wonder if they saw his helmet. DL with some jump peaks, but again, there's not too much that we can expect from ENCE at the very least. Very methodical from Gambit. Look at the utility. They are giving them no space to breathe as they get a very easy, uncontested, essentially, bomb plant thanks to their brilliant use of utility.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to know your advantages and how to play them effectively. And so, like, for any super top elite level team, you can't be dropping the ball when you have rounds like this where you have massive advantages. You got to understand the best ways to approach those rounds. You can't do the same thing every time, obviously, because then a team can kind of counter-strat you on the fly. So you need to offer, you know, a couple looks, and that's oftentimes why you'll also see teams start like Gambit did, where it's super passive. So if there's any rush timings, anything like that, you can just remove that variance completely by playing slow. But at the same time, it also prevents the other team from really knowing how you're going to finish the round, because there's no tells in the early or even in the mid rounds. So good stuff from Gambit on rounds such as that, and that's going to give them the 6-4. ENCE are actually sort of struggling so far on this CT side.
Yeah, but again, I think that both teams have stopped each other from even getting to like $6,000, let's say. Like now it's round 11 and we see Shiro with the AWP for the first time. So certainly that's always going to, that kind of war of attrition is always going to hurt the CT team more, which is proving very difficult for ENCE. And if you're light on utility, you may feel encouraged to go for those aggressive plays, like when we saw they had, I think, 3 M4s and a flamez, and they went for those very aggressive plays, presumably feeling really vulnerable, going for aggressive plays on B through Monster and Short B and so on, which resulted in heavy losses. So looking at our secondary screens here, they've got a reasonable level of utility, so I won't expect that kind of urgency from them. But now we've got Shiro on the AWP. We'll see what the young man is made of.
Yeah, they're going heavier towards A as well. Their default's changed here, and that might catch ENCE off a little bit. Looking to be going a bit faster towards A as well. Not the 3 players towards Monster. This time also ENCE are pushing Suez as we expect. So ENCE will get some control back on the map as they take Suez control. Oh, Hobbit's there. He is able to just get one though, and Dota's falling back, gets sprayed through the wood a little bit. Big opening victory for Gambit, getting that 4 versus 4. And there's very little util left for ENCE.
Yeah, and still with some presence in Short B, and they've got toilets for now, so they're in positions where they can get some information, and this round can still change. The noise cut by Gambit. Spinks moves to an off angle. We can see Gambit seems to be focused on the A-bomb site. Bomb carrier just waiting outside nexa. But you don't want to outstay your welcome versus these pistols, especially a Tech 9. Very dangerous affair. And this is where the fire rate of your CT weapons can really come in handy. Really want the faster fire rates versus, well, in a round such as this, versus the pistols.
Yeah, it's only Hobbit that doesn't have a helmet too. So that's pretty good for Gambit.
Early AWP for Shiro. He has support from one player on long. He can fall back to bank though, because he has that security